Hello, my name is John Rose, and in this video I'm going to show you guys a way to help you be more effective on the hero's journey when it comes to sharing this message. Now, usually it takes a while to be on the hero's journey so that we can start sharing the message, because we want to be able to have the experience and be able to speak from confidence of that experience. And in this video particularly, I'm going to show a technique that might be helpful for a certain type of personality type. And I'll put a link down below to several videos I've done on this personality test. If y'all remember, if you've seen my other videos, it's called Personalysis. 4 main personality traits. Reds act, they do things quickly. Yellows talk, they do things friendly. Blue people think, they do things creatively. Green people analyze, do things carefully. We're going to be talking about the green personality types. These people are perfectionists. They're some of the hardest people to convince because they're usually pretty skeptical. But if you can convince them, they're going to be doing the best job of anybody because they tend to be a perfectionist. They learn from past negative experiences. So the best thing to do, if you find someone who's like that, if you already know them, if you know them well, these are the type of people who usually get stubborn if they get in their negatives, but they may never get in their negatives, so you may never see that side of them. But they're looking for something negative, so you give it to them. And this is exactly what you give them to them. You tell them, look, we are no different than any other species. Every species on this planet has a species-specific diet based on their anatomy. We have anatomical limitations that we've been given at birth, and you can't get around that. But here's what you give them. This is our ideal diet in an ideal world, and we don't live in an ideal world anymore. So we might have to modify it. Some people can do this without modifying it, but many cannot, because we're damaged. Individually, the environment's damaged, and we have to take that in consideration because now we have another group of needs. So you tell them right off the bat, there's a flaw, there's something that's negative about this. It's not perfect because we've been damaged. Not only is our ideal diet not workable for some because we don't live in an ideal world anymore, but the same applies for a solid food vacation on water, which used to be the best preparation for a better way of life until those last 2 mistakes came along. Remember, we made 5 main mistakes. Because of those last 2 mistakes, water fasting doesn't address all the issues it used to. That's how we're supposed to address them. But we have to also modify a solid food vacation on water by using juices instead. And what that's going to do is it's going to address the issue of being damaged. This is the part that some people just don't get. They're so anal, thinking they've got the best, because between the two, water fasting is superior on certain levels because it kicks in autolysis. But there's many levels. The juice fast, the water solid food vacation on juices, is superior on a whole lot of levels that the water fast can't address. It doesn't address the damage. It doesn't address the fact here in America that something like 78% of the people in this country work paycheck to paycheck. They can't take a solid food vacation on water and therefore take a solid food vacation from life. It's not going to reach the tipping point. I've mentioned this so many times. Remember 5 main mistakes. 3 ways to correct those 5 main mistakes. 2 of those are not doable by enough of us to get everyone's attention. If we don't get everyone's attention, if we don't reach the tipping point, things will never change. And I know a lot of you people don't spend any time thinking about this, but this is all I've thought about for 27 plus years. When natural hygiene first came out several hundred years ago, they were a lot more successful back then than we are now with getting this message out. And it still wasn't good enough. If you looked at what it's going to take to reach the tipping point, and then we say, okay, how many is going to come from number 1, number 2, and number 3? It's all going to be coming from the solid food vacation on juices. The other 2 combined, a raw vegan diet and a water fast, a solid food vacation on water, It's going to be a little drop in the bucket. It's not going to get things to change. And the point is, if we're not in a position to change everything, it's not going to work. We're always going to struggle with the powers that be because they got the masses under control. But we're the Goliath here. We got to wake up this giant. We got to help people realize that we're the enemy and we're the solution. Can't do it with raw vegan. You can't do it with water fasting. It's going to take an idea whose time has come. And remember, Bill Bright already had 14 million people doing this back in 1997. This planet can transform if we would stop having such a lack of continuity among those of us who know we got to do something and denigrate an idea whose time has come. Are you people idiots or what? You haven't thought it out, have you? When you think it out, when you contemplate on this for thousands and thousands and thousands of hours, you finally realize there is such a thing as a first cause. There is such a thing that changed our mentality. It is the fall of mankind. There's no dispute because every culture on this planet recognizes this event. We used to live in golden ages, but something happened. Now we're in the dark ages. There's like another side of evil that came out in man. We've already lived on a planet that's surrounded by predation and other things that make you wonder what kind of world we live on. But look at man. We are the sickest animals on this planet. We're in denial. And those of us who know it are so friggin' anal and lack the foresight to understand what it's going to take. It's going to take an idea that people can embrace and share, and we've got it. So when you find someone who you think is an honest skeptic, because remember there's dishonest skeptics, they don't care about the truth, but when you find an honest one, show them what they're looking for. Yes, there's a flaw with our species-specific diet. We're damaged. How many times do I gotta say we're damaged, man? We're damaged. Now we gotta modify it. We gotta modify it slightly. Same thing with the water. Can the water fast cleanse on a level that a juice fast can't? Of course. Kicks in autolysis. It's great. It's nothing short of miraculous. It's what happens to a caterpillar when it turns into a butterfly. I know how powerful a water fast is, but it doesn't address the last two of the 5 mistakes. Fourth mistake has to do with the fourth thing we mastered, the Industrial Revolution. Processed foods. Fifth thing, chemicals. Because of those two main events, the 2 things we mastered and the 2 other events, the 2 bad applications, it's made water fasting difficult to do. Why? Because people go into it extremely deficient. And not all deficiencies are based on toxicities. It doesn't address the fact that we're damaged, especially from the chemical point of view. Because of the chemicals, our liver needs glutathione like you won't believe. It needs other nutrients also. And if it doesn't have those, it can't complete a 2-phase process to eliminate, eliminate these toxins. So when it comes to comparing the two, water juices, superior. Got a couple over here and a couple dozen over here. I'm not discounting the superiority of a water fast, but some of you clowns can't see what a juice fast can do. It is an idea's time has come. You gotta let people know the best preparation for a better way of life is to take a solid food vacation. But there's something wrong with that. This is what these Greens want to hear. What's wrong? What's wrong? We gotta modify it. You gotta do it on juices instead, oh darn. Tell you, my friends, if you have not taken a long, solid food vacation, you just don't know what you're missing. When I went 90 days, I crawled out of a rut I didn't know I was in. Feel like a kid every day of my life ever since. What would have happened if I would have done a 40-day water fast? Would it have done the same thing? Would I have crawled out of the rut when I finished it? Hell no! I would have had to lay in bed for another 40 days. Might have crawled out of the rut during that process. And I know water fasting is powerful. I know how great it makes you feel because you're getting rid of the garbage. Anything that gets rid of garbage is good. But when you can do it and still maintain a life, then you can be part of the hero's journey that's going to get us to the tipping point. You will be the trim tab of society. We need trim tabs more than anything. This lack of continuity amongst us, fighting, not offering a unified message, is ridiculous. Get behind the only message that matters. It's a solid food vacation on juices. And when we can get united with one message that can wake everyone up, ow! This planet and everything living on it is in for a treat.